Hey, y'all, it's Thursday. That means it's another episode of the Late Night Vision Show, episode 392. We're happy to bring it to you again this week. We are well into our best of series. And if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go check out our best budget thermal scope, which we did a few weeks ago. We've also done the best thermal scope under 3,000, the best under 4,000. This week, we're doing the best thermal scope under 5,000. And as always, my co-host, the owner of Outdoor Legacy, Mr. Jason Robertson, who is going to help me get through this list. And we're going to pick a couple winners, right?
We are. So, and just to be clear, if you're looking for those other shows that Hans was talking about, you need to be sure you search Best of 2025. Because if not, we've been doing this for several years now, and you might end up on 2023 or
Don't do that.
2022, and you'll be very confused about some of those scope models when you start trying to find those because, guys, time flies and scopes change, and what was the best of a couple years ago probably doesn't even exist, and it's been moved to the the history museum of thermal scopes. Times change and things improve, but we do have a great show today. Want to go ahead and just tell you real quick, we know a lot of people jump in here to these shows, first time viewers, maybe you haven't seen the show before, maybe just watched it once or twice. Thank you for being here. Glad to have you. I'll make this simple and easy for you. The Late Night Vision Show is brought to you by Outdoor Legacy. Outdoor Legacy is the company that I own, that Hans works at, that our other salesman Garrett and some awesome ladies in the office. And what we do is we dedicate ourselves 5 days, actually I'd say 7 days a week, but we're here 5 days a week dedicated to selling night vision and thermal optics. And we only choose the best. We want to sort through all of the noise that's out there, choose the best brands and the best optics, and help you figure out which one is right for your budget and your specific needs. And also, I want to be clear, when I say we only choose the best, that doesn't mean the most expensive. As Hans talked about in that budget show he mentioned there, we've got thermal scopes for under $1,000. They go all the way up, so we can help you with whatever your budget is. And something that I always say, people may get tired of hearing it, but thermal optics are tools, and you need to get the right tool for the job, and you need to be sure you know exactly what your job is. Just going out on the internet and saying, what's the best scope under $4,000 or what's the best scope under $5,000? Just like today, Hans is going to explain this a little bit. We're going to pick some of our favorites. Doesn't mean that it's the right scope for you, and he'll get into that. So we want to help you. All you got to do is give us a call, 877-350-1818. If you want to make your thermal scope purchase from us, if you like what you see here and you want that full service, kind of a boutique type experience. I know that word sounds kind of feminine, but it's where you come in and we help you through the entire process, starting from scratch. Maybe you already know what you want. You want to figure out if it's the right optic. We help you with that. We can help you get that purchase. We will ship that scope straight to your door. We would love to have your business. OutdoorLegacy.com, 877-350-1818.
Yeah, I don't know if I like boutique description.
Yeah,
What
I
what if
know.
we did like white glove
White glove,
service?
that's nice.
Yeah.
But does that mean I have to start wearing white gloves? That's the going to be
It
expected.
looked like that
Yeah.
wouldn't be good. Well,
No,
so
not good.
yes. So we have a couple disclaimers, then we're going to get into the list. We're going to talk a little bit about each scope. So the first thing I think Jason mentioned, these are our favorite scopes of the year. We work with all the premium brands, the brands that have the best reputation, that have been in the market the longest. These are companies that if you go out with a group of night hunters, they know these brands, they know these scopes. These are very common, very well known. They have the best customer service. They've got the best warranties and the best quality. So we pick from the brands that we work with, Outdoor Legacy. And again, we work with the premium brands and we narrow this down. Now, if it is on this list, that means it is worthy of a recommendation. If it's on this list, it's because they deserve to be on this list. And we are not giving any preference or peripheral treatment. How do you say that word, Jason?
Preferential.
Preferential, man.
Don't ask me to spell it. I can say it.
Jason's mom was an English teacher, so that's why he's
True.
good at that kind of stuff. We work with the brands that are the biggest and best. So I've already said that. Now, if you are watching the show, Jason, what I've noticed, a lot of people that own a scope, that are happy with this scope, they watch these best of shows for almost validation of their purchase. Like they want to validate that they made the right decision. And I'm going to tell you this. If you have a scope and you love your scope and you felt like it was a good deal and it does everything you need it to do, it doesn't matter what we say on this show. I mean, I hate to say that, but if you own a scope and you're not in the market to buy a scope and you're happy, it doesn't matter what we choose. I mean, these are our favorites of the brands that we work with, but if you're happy, that's all that matters. Don't feel validation or don't feel offended if your scope is not mentioned on this episode or on this show. Again, it's nothing personal against your decision, and it's not a reflection of a poor decision that you made. So I hope that I covered all the bases, Jason. But I mean. Yeah, well, I mean, we are pretty partial to the scopes. And Jason, I think we got a good list. You're about to run through them right now, but I'm really very excited about all these scopes.
Yeah, I'm going to say one quick thing. You did mention multiple times there, and I didn't want to interrupt you and get off your train of thought. The brands, the premium brands, the brands we recommend. I'm going to just real quick. Those brands are AGM, Pulsar, Rix, Infraray Outdoor, and Knockpicks. And Infraray Outdoor and Knockpicks are under the iRay USA brand here in the U.S. So those are the brands that we're considering for this list. If it's a brand that's not in this list, there's a reason. I mean, that's just, I'll leave it at that. And again, Hans said, you may not, you dididn't make a bad choice. We're not going to throw rocks at another man's dog. How about that? We won't do that. No, but in all seriousness, we're going to jump into this list. These are the optics from these manufacturers that we think deserve to be on this list. There's probably some other optics that these manufacturers have that aren't on this list. Because again, we don't sell every single optic from every manufacturer. We pick and choose and sell what we feel are the best values, the best bang for the buck, whatever. If there's something we really don't like about an optic, we just won't sell it. So jumping into this list, I will say, I just noticed because I was reading off those name brands, Pulsar does not have an optic in this list. Just don't think they have anything in this price category here this week, but we have 6 optics. Again, this is going to be your best of category under $5,000 for 2025. Starting it off, it's the AGM Varmint V2 50-640 laser rangefinder. It is a 2.5 power base magnification, hence the name. It's a 640 high resolution, and the price is $4,195. I'll tell you what we're going to do. This is a shorter list, so we're going to briefly talk about each of these optics for just a minute or two. The Varmint, this is the V2, so version 2 of that. There's been some improvements with the V2, and these scopes have been around for now probably over a year. I don't remember when the V2s came out, but kind of their claim to fame, smaller, more compact. They use an 18650 fully removable rechargeable battery, which a lot of people like. And I think a negative to this scope that I always like to bring up about the varmints, which again, this is going to sound bad talking about the negatives right here, but it just needs to be known, is all the controls are going to be on the left-hand side of the scope. So if you're a left-handed shooter, we don't advise this scope for you. It's going to be better for right-handed shooters because your free hand will be your left hand. I think that's really something that there's a lot of times that I will recommend this scope to somebody and I'll just go, hey, by the way, you're not left-handed. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's going to make it a little hard to control this scope because that's a little unusual. Hans, most optics are going to have those controls up on the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's kind of funny. Have you ever watched the show Shark Tank where they choose business, Mark Cuban, they choose ideas and these companies to help start up? Anytime, and not just this specific scope right here, but anytime you start talking about negatives of any scope, in my head, I'm always like picturing myself as Mark Cuban and saying, and for that reason, I'm out. You know, it always goes through my head when you talk about negatives on a scope.
so
But no, the
funny.
varmint
You're out.
actually,
Well,
yeah, for that reason, you're out. No, so
if
the
you were Mark
varmint,
Cuban, you would not be wasting your time on this show. I can just tell you.
you
You'd be on
probably
your
and you
island
probably
somewhere.
wouldn't be working. Yeah, you probably wouldn't hire me. Well, I'll just say this. So the varmint, very popular scope, been around for quite a while, and that's a lower price at $41.95 than it's been
correct.
ever. So again, I think these companies, as they continue to generate new things and new models, some of the older models they start to discount and put at a lower price. So good scope for the price, but the next scope on it, I think, is really. I'll let you go ahead and read
Yeah.
off, and we'll get right
I
into the
think
next
that's
one.
yeah, I was already sitting here thinking about this is the scope that I think most people are going to choose between these two. And it's the AGM Rattler V3. So it's a Rattler V3, 35 640 laser rangefinder, 2.5 power. It's 42.95. So just putting this right here next to its sibling, what we've got here is a 50 millimeter lens versus a 35 millimeter lens, which to Hans and I really doesn't matter. That's something that gets confused. People bring over from their knowledge of daytime optics. Doesn't bother us. They're both 2.5 power, and you're going to pay $100 more for the Rattler V3. But what we like about the V3 is one, it's got a larger display screen. It has got a laser rangefinder that's actually built into the lens, so it's not protruding off of it. And it's got a fully removable, rechargeable AGM battery that has got an extremely can't even say it, a long run time. And it comes with two of those batteries. So that's a very good value for the dollar. Really like this V3 a lot. Now, moving along, we've got the Knockpix Ace
Hey, I want to
H.
say some. I want to say
Oh,
something real quick about the V3.
sorry.
I believe it is the smallest scope that I know of that has a laser rangefinder built into the objective lens. So that's a big deal with that compact size. I'm thinking about all the ones that I know of, and I do. I think it's the smallest.
Yes.
The V3s are the smallest scope with a laser rangefinder built into the objective lens, and it's just a really cool, seamless looking scope. A lot of people don't like the way that the laser rangefinders hang off the sides of different scopes. So
Right.
I think that's pretty cool thing that they did right there, with trying to keep the Rattler true to its popularity. And the popularity for the Rattler has always been the quality of the optic and the size. So, people love the Rattler for the size, and they were able to stay true to that by sticking the laser rangefinder in the objective lens. So that's what's made that optic very popular over the last several months.
Well, and this is the first 35 millimeter lens with the laser rangefinder that we've
Yeah.
seen. I mean, that
Yeah.
what you're saying, small. We're also talking about the objective lens size.
Yeah.
Until now, it's all been, I'm going to say,
Just 50.
50s,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe a 42 somewhere, but yeah,
Yeah.
but definitely not down to a 35. But AGM figured it out, and we really like that a lot. So back going down the list, the Knockpix Ace H50. This is a 640 high resolution, 3-power optic, and no laser rangefinder. It's in a 30 millimeter tube design, and it's $42.99. This is an extremely popular scope. It's 18650 battery, removable as well as the internal battery. It's got the ocular zoom on the eyepiece, which is fantastic, really popular feature. Just a really good image quality. Again, 30 millimeter tube makes it a all around scope. Doesn't matter what type of rifle that you're going to be putting it on, it will go on there. Those are the most versatile style optics. So really like the Ace a lot. Moving on, the Rix Leap L6R. Now, this is a really new scope. It is a 2.8 power base magnification, and it also has a laser rangefinder built into the lens. And it is $4,499, right at $4,500. This scope has only been out for, I don't know at this point, time flies. I'm going to say a month or two. We reviewed it recently here on the show. Really like this optic as well. It does have the ocular zoom, has 18650 battery with no internal battery. So if you're somebody who doesn't want an internal battery at all, that's a very good optic. I think that Hans, correct me if I'm wrong. This is a 2.8 power. We basically
Yeah.
consider that a 3 because I'm just going to tell you the
Mhm.
truth. Every other manufacturer, when they get to 2.8, they're rounding up. If they get
Yeah.
to 3.2, they're going to round down. So
Yeah.
Rick's is just being very truthful here, calling it a 2.8. We're going to say it's essentially a 3. I
Mhm.
think that this is the least expensive 3 power 640 in our lineup with a laser rangefinder. Is that correct,
Mhm.
Hans? I think that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. The only one that I know there's a 2 power, but yeah, this 3 power is going to be it. And I feel like here lately, in this best of series that we've done, we've gotten a chance to talk about a lot of the very first, the first of
Yeah,
this, the first of that. I mean, it's just
it's
like
true.
every week we're having, the first with this at this price. It's kind of great to see as far as
It
the
is.
innovation and the pricing structure. Yeah.
I agree, man. It's and there's going to be some more of those. I know as we go into the next couple weeks of shows. Next on the list, it's the AGM Rattler V3. Again, we already talked about the V3 640. This is the very popular V3 640 laser rangefinder, 3.5 power base mag for 48.95. Now this scope has been around longer than the other V3s. So this
Mhm.
scope was announced at SHOT Show this year, 2025, in January, and then the other V3 units were not released until what was that? September, October,
Yeah.
whenever that
Just
was.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, just recently, as when we're recording this. So this unit is got more popularity for a couple of reasons. One, it's a 3.5 power. A lot of longer range
Mhm.
guys really like that, but it's also been around, for 9, 10 months, where the other models are really new to the market. But again, small, compact laser rangefinder in the lens. All the American Defense, all the AGMs come with an American Defense quick detach mount, so that's another plus to these. So really nice optic. I'm going to round out this list with one more AGM. So it's kind of funny. I'm looking at this. We have 6 optics and 4 of them are from
Oh
AGM, but
gosh.
we have the Adder V2 640 laser rangefinder, 2.5 power. This optic is going to be $49.95, so right at $5,000, and it's going to be in their 30 millimeter tube design. Again, as we talked
Yeah.
about, versatility there. This optic is going to take a combination of internal batteries and a removable 18650. This laser rangefinder is not built into the lens. It is on the top of the unit, which is not a problem. But if you were looking for something that you wanted to put on a bolt action style rifle, lever action, something with a fixed stock, we would definitely lean you towards one of these
Hmm.
30 millimeter tube optics. So interesting, Hans. This is
Yeah.
our list.
Yeah.
There's
It's
only I was
well.
just gonna say there's only one scope on this list that does not have a laser rangefinder. I just thought that
Oh,
was interesting.
yeah, that's pretty neat. And you mentioned also earlier, the fact that Pulsar doesn't have an optic on our list in this range. I want to add too, the reason why is because they have lowered the price of one of the most popular scopes. That one actually
That's true.
one of our best thermal scopes under 4,000, and it's a great optic at that price. So that's the only reason is because they actually lowered the price of one of
That's a
probably
good point.
probably the most popular optic, one of the most popular that they have. So that's one of the reasons why they're not in there. But yeah, that's interesting with the laser rangefinders. You can see that is starting to be, especially in the higher price stuff, pretty much a standard component almost of all this stuff. So, all right, you ready to pick some winners?
Hans? Yeah, so I say, just to tell y'all ahead of time what we've got here. We've got 2 winners. Hans and I went over this list. We really got this down to 3 that we liked a whole lot.
Hmm.
And so we decided we would pick 2 winners in no certain order. We
Yeah.
both agreed on that. And then we had one honorable mention that we really just couldn't, had to squeeze somebody down
Yeah.
into a second place. So this is going to be it. So Hans, go ahead, give them the first winner in no particular order.
And I forgot one disclaimer, and I'll say it real quick, Jason. If you call in Outdoor Legacy and we don't recommend to you one of the scopes that we chose as the
Right.
winner, that don't worry about that. We're choosing an optic that's right for you, for your situation. Whatever we're choosing here may not be perfect for you, but if it's on the list,
Right.
it's worth the recommendation. I forgot to add that. Sorry. So, yeah. So the first one that we chose, Jason and I chose as our favorite, the Knockpix Ace H50, which is, gosh, one of the most popular scopes of the year. As you know, Jason, the price kind of fluctuated a little bit because of the tariffs over the summer.
Right.
Back in May, the price went from $42.99 to $47.99. There's been some, I guess, renegotiation between IRA and the factory, and they were able to get that price back down. So it is back down to $42.99. But even at the $47.99 price, I still thought it was a good deal. At $42.99, it's even a more unbelievable deal. Ocular magnification, 3 to 9 power ocularly, with 8 times digital zoom on top of that. So you can use ocular zoom in conjunction with digital zoom. It does, all of the bells and whistles that you can think of with recording audio, video. It's got Wi-Fi. Just a great scope. And, back a long time ago, we would think of this as just more of a predator hunting thermal scope. I think 3 power now is getting to be more of the standard throughout the industry as far as whether you're shooting short range or long range. Now, if you're in the woods, and you're shooting at 20 yards, this probably isn't the optic for you. But Jason, I know I mentioned this quite a bit. I prefer a 3 power scope. I'm not a long range shooter. Most of my shots are well under 100 yards, but I really like the Knockpix. The big advantage I think that it has is the ocular magnification in conjunction with the large display, high resolution 2560 by 2560 resolution display, which makes that ocular zoom work really, really well. And I think that that's part of the reason, maybe the main reason, why it's been so successful in a lot of circles in the night hunting world.
Yeah, I think this unit I mentioned right before this that it's the only unit that doesn't have a laser rangefinder.
Yeah,
so there's probably some guys that say, well, hold on. How do you choose the one scope that doesn't have a laser rangefinder as one of your 2 winners? I think that there's enough people like myself that don't need the laser rangefinder, that I'm not against it. I don't need it. And so that opens, and like, let's just say I was in this price category. For me, don't care about the laser rangefinder. If it's there, great. If it's not, great. Now I'm focused on what do I think is the best optic for me with the best features, with the best image quality. And so I think with the 2560 display and the ocular zoom and just the fantastic image quality that you're going to get out of this, for me, this would absolutely be one of my top choices in this class. Because again, the laser rangefinder is not a defining, factor for me. So, I think, and it's, if we're just talking about price here, it is, two to $400. No, more than that, $200 to $600 less than these other units here that are above it. So I do think that, there is some money coming to play. If I don't need the laser rangefinder, why pay for it in some of these other optics?
Well, yeah, and we'll get into it next week, but the H50R, which is the same unit with a laser rangefinder, you're jumping up to $5,500. But so I think if you're wondering right now, you're sitting at home, you're like, well, they just chose an optic without a laser rangefinder, and they're saying, well, for their situation, they don't really need it. If you're wondering if you need a laser rangefinder, we've put out some videos on it, but the best thing to do is if you're wanting to purchase an optic and you're wondering if you need a laser rangefinder, is call so we can have that consultation. Because I also agree, Jason. I think for most people that a laser rangefinder is a luxury and not necessarily a necessity. I don't think everybody, there are a lot of people that call in and say, well, my buddy told me, or I saw on Facebook, they said, don't buy a scope without a laser rangefinder. And I would say, well, I understand that for a lot of people, it is important, but take in my account, my situation, I hunt on family land. This is land that I look at every day. I know the ranges, so I don't need a laser rangefinder. You may not need it one either. So what happens, as you know, Jason, is sometimes you're choosing between, do I want the scope with the laser rangefinder, or do I want the scope with the best image quality in that budget? And if you're having to choose between laser rangefinder or image quality, that's where you really got to be honest with yourself. Do I really need it? And that's where a consultation comes into play of really helping you to decide, because that's an important, big decision with a lot of weight to it.
Guys, that is this commercial alert right in the beginning, but right in the middle of this. But that's what you get if you want to buy your scope from us. We're willing to have these conversations with you and help you try to be honest with yourself and talk some of this out and figure out what you need and what you don't. It is a service we offer to our customers. So Hans, love that scope. We got one more here that we're going to choose as a winner. And again, another is an honorable mention. This was a tough decision on these three, but I think that we didn't have a choice. We had to go with it. And that's going to be our other winners, the AGM Rattler V3 5640, 3.5 power with the laser rangefinder for $4,895, So here's what we really like about that optic. Small, compact, laser rangefinder in the lens, big display screen, and 3.5 power. Now, here's the thing: 3.5 power is more than I need. That's way more than I need for 90% of my hunting. But it's such a value for the guys who do need it. It's such. I mean, that's if you look here at this list, you've got 2.5 power, 2.5 power, 2.5 power. 2 point, well, we'll call it 3.5. So if you're wanting that longer range, this is your scope. And as you know, if you look through the list of all the premium brands and their optics, when you get above a 3 power and a 640, you pay for it. Okay. You that higher magnification cost money, and you're getting right here under $5,000 a 3.5 power, really good image quality. This is I would say, Hans, I'm thinking before I say this out loud. It's always dangerous when I do this on the fly. This is probably for 2025 the most popular 640 AGM rifle scope. Would you agree with that? I mean, I can't think of one that's outselling this.
You and I talked before the show, and we're right now, y'all. It is, what is it? Towards the end of October. We are busy. The phones are going crazy.
It's November, yeah.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, November. Can't look at my watch right. It's 1st of November. So we are in a busy time of year, and we're taking phone calls like crazy. We don't even have time to eat lunch most of the time. So when we think a scope is popular, we get that feeling from phone calls, people asking and all that. But also another way is for us to sit back and say, okay, let's run reports. Let's look at the sales of these and break it down per optic, per unit, because there's a lot of people that buy straight from the website that we don't even talk to. So when you pull up the numbers of the people that have purchased the V3 5640, I think it surprised both of us. We knew it was popular, but holy cow, we have sold a lot of those scopes in a short amount of time. It is, I would say the popularity of that scope is you're right. I think it is one of the most, probably the most popular Rattler that we have, or that AGM has right now. And it is for the reasons that we talked about. There are people out there that want a high base magnification with that laser rangefinder. You see that correlation there between, you see high base magnification and laser rangefinder purchased together quite a bit, because those are your longer range shooters, wider open spaces. They want a laser rangefinder to give them an accurate range so they can, take a proper shot. So that is, a popular mixture, that combined with the fact that you can still do all that high base LRF with a scope that's still considered compact and lightweight. I mean, they've done it right. I'm really glad that they really incorporated the laser rangefinder in the Rattler, instead of like tried to revamp the varmints. I mean, I don't know if I can say that, but I'm glad. I think they made the right decision, and I think it's going to, and it already has, but I think it's going to be continue to be a great success for AGM with that form factor.
Well, I'll say, and I'll end on this. But I think that getting away from the 18650 and the varmint and getting to their AGM battery that has got
Yeah.
such a good battery life with 2 batteries included, I think it's a benefit. So we actually
That's
we're happy
controversial
to
to say.
it is, but
And
yeah,
we need to do a
we're
show on
changing
18.
course. We'll talk
we're-
about that later.
Yeah, we're going to do a show on 18650 battery. And you have
one,
a great
one more
picture.
quick thing.
You have a great
sorry.
picture showing a lineup of a bunch of 18650 batteries and the different sizes and how maddening it is. But that's another show for another time.
That's another show. We're out. Okay, so one quick thing I do want to bring up, and before we get to this honorable mention, is you made a comment, and I don't want somebody to hear this and be confused. We were talking about the popularity of this scope. We are not choosing these winners based on total sales. There is scopes on a lot of these lists that we have they've been by far the best selling that we didn't even give an honorable mention to. So I just want to be clear. We're sitting down saying, hey, what do we like? What do we really think's a great optic that, we would choose that whatever. So I just want to be clear that I don't want people to think, well, we just choose whatever the best seller is, because that's not what we're doing. There's optics that sell really well, better than maybe some of these that aren't getting chosen. All right, last one. Let's get this done. This scope deserves just as much fanfare, I think, as these other two. And it is the very new Rix Leap L6R. Again, 2.8, almost a 3 power laser rangefinder, 30 millimeter tube for $4,499. Laser rangefinder built into the lens, ocular zoom. They have improved the ocular zoom on this unit. We definitely felt like that the ocular zoom on the original Leaps, which they were the first to incorporate that, we thought it was lacking when you zoomed in on the reticles. Sometimes they were fuzzy or blurry or double reticles. That's all been fixed. So on these L6R and L3R Leaps, man, the ocular zoom's great. The reticles have been improved. They're thinner. It just looks really, really good. This is a great optic. It was a tough decision. It definitely deserves to be in the top 3 here. Great scope. One thing I want to mention before I forget is that if you want to know more about each of these scopes, on episode 366, we reviewed the Knockpix Ace H50. On episode 375, we reviewed the Rattler V350 640. And on 388, we reviewed the Leap L6R. So if you want to search that and you want to watch one of those reviews here from our channel, here's all you do. On YouTube, type in Late Night Vision Show and then the number. 366 for the Ace, 388 for the L6R, 375 for the Rattler V3. You just type in one of those numbers and it'll take you right to that show. You'll find it there in the list.
Good job. Thanks for having that ready, man. That's awesome.
Man.
That's a good resource. So when people call in, we also tell people about those videos quite a bit. It's a great way to start your search. And when I talk about starting your search for a thermal, shows like this, our reviews, that's a starting point. I mean, you're just trying to figure out, right now, you're probably watching this show because you're looking at a scope in the $5,000 range, or maybe you're in the $3,000 budget, but you want to see what the $5,000 scopes look like. And that's understandable. Sure. You're trying to decide on that. But the videos and maybe some discussions online are the starting point, really, to ultimately make the right decision. You need to have a consultation. And the way to do that is to give us a call. If you're interested in purchasing an optic, you're at that point where you feel like you're ready to finally just make, I hate to say it, but like pull that trigger, make that final decision. You can give us a call, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacy.com. You can find all of our optics there. The website's been redesigned, very easy to find. You can search by price category, so you can search every thermal scope in a certain price range, and that works and looks really, really good. So check that out. But we want to have that consultation so we can confidently recommend a scope to you. And I'll say this real quick, Jason. It is not our job to tell you what scope to buy. That is your decision. We are here to guide you through the process, to help narrow it down to maybe 2 or 3, maybe more different options that meet your budget and your application. What I am here to do, though, is to make sure that you don't make a mistake. And that's by purchasing an optic that is wrong for your application. It's like if you tell us you're going to hunt in the woods and you're looking at a 4-power base magnification scope, we're going to say that is wrong. Don't do that. But we're going to also provide some information to help you make the right decision. So again, we're not here to tell you what to buy, but we will help you not make a mistake. And I think that's important as well. So if you want to find out more about the show, the latenightvision.show.com, we have a website. On our social media platforms on Outdoor Legacy and with the Late Night Vision Show and Hans ETX. You can find me on YouTube. Find all of us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. But we are thankful that you tune in every week. These shows, Jason, are just, the views are off the chart. The phone calls of people that say, I just watched your show, or when we call, it's like, I'm watching your show right now. It's unbelievable how many people are watching.
That's right. And guys, we want to say it's the end of the show, but we'll say it here. Thank you. Thank you for those who are choosing to do business with us. It means a lot. We appreciate that you like what you see here. You want to, you trust us with your business. It means a lot. There's a whole team of us. Hans and I get out here and, we're the ones who put ourselves out here, and it may look glamorous. It's not. We know that. But there's a whole team behind us that is doing as much and more than we are. We can't do it without them. So if you do, want to do business with us and you call us, you're going to talk to one of the ladies in the office. They're fantastic. You'll talk to Hans or our other salesman, Garrett, who's out hunting every night. He's a long-range coyote hunter. You're going to talk to somebody who's using these optics every day, understands them, knows about them, and then we don't just drop you off when say, okay, it's great, now go to the website and place the order. We're going to, again, hold your hand through that process if you want and say, hey, talk to one of the ladies. You can place the order today. Oh, it's before lunchtime. We can get it shipped out to you today. We're going to go through that whole process with you, and that's just part of what you get if you choose to do business with us. And so all of you who are watching these shows and doing that, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it, and that is what allows us to keep coming back every week with these shows. Hope to see y'all here again next week. The plan, good Lord willing, the creek don't rise, is that we'll be back with the best of under $6,000. I already did a little preview of that one, and I told Hans, get ready. I don't know how we're going to make a choice in this. It's going to be really hard. So y'all come back, tune in to see that one. Between now and then, y'all stay safe.